The home of the common Joe and the common Sally in the know, even more so than all those media talking heads. Hello, class. This is Professor JPC, and today, class, we're going to learn about cults and the dangers of cults, and to beware of cults. And the cult that we're going to talk about today, class, is this. Those Texas A&M Aggies. You know, those all-male cheerleaders from South Texas. Let's converse about it. Well, here we go again. It's another episode of the OCF. That's the Outlaw of College Football. That's me, JPC. That's right. I ripped RVD off today. But today, class, as I said in my lead-up, my alter ego, Professor JPC, we're going to talk about Texas A&M and why they are a cult. You know, I wonder why Jimbo acts so erratic this offseason over a few little things that, you know, were going back and forth between him and Nick Saban. Now I think I understand a little bit. I mean, if I was down there amongst all those weirdos, I'd probably be a little unhinged too about every little thing. But I went on this website. It's called forwhomthebelltolls.com, and I saw this article on why Texas A&M is a cult. And this guy got some pretty good reasons why. Now, sure enough, this guy may be a Longhorn fan that's just trying to, you know, troll a little bit, maybe put a little grill to him. But the thing is, it's not really a troll or a grill if it's the damn truth. And this is the truth. Let's put Texas A&M on the bad list. The bad cult list, that is. That's right. All right. Let's get right into it. The first thing we're going to get to is the obvious one. The all-male cheerleaders that start each yell by yelling, "Hump it, Ags." And then everybody bends over and starts chanting. If that don't sound a little cultish and maybe a little perverted, then I don't know what is. And that's just the kicker. That's just the starter in all this. It almost, and also, isn't it a little bit sexist not to allow females to be on your cheerleading squad or your yell crew? We don't have a cheerleading squad. It's called a yell crew. It doesn't matter, as The Rock would say. It doesn't matter, jabroni. It doesn't matter. What it's called, you don't have any females on it. So to me, that should be sexist. And what could be more cultish than a large group of people bending over and chanting while being led by a bunch of men in white suits? Then they have this thing called the Aggie Ring. They use it to identify each other. Now, sure enough, there's a lot of people out there that probably wear the class ring and whatnot, and people identify them as one of the alumnus, so that might be a little weak. But what makes it valid is not only do they identify each other with it like a cult, but they drop it in a warm beer and drink it immediately. Who in their right mind would want to drink warm beer? It sounds like an initiation, like a cult. A&M's official website recognizes howdy as their official greeting. I mean, I guess they could be like Ohio State and try to claim the word "the." But after howdy, you know, that's not so bad. But then after howdy is where it gets cultish. After howdy, though, they ask you to whip it out. Or they have a whipping it out, where they're supposed to whip something out after they say howdy. Now, sure enough, he's probably just talking about, hey, just throw something out real quick, like, I don't know, your pocket knife or your car keys. But when you say whipping it out, some people take a little perverted, once again, sexual connotation to this kind of stuff. Aggies? Plus, it sounds like you're asking them, when you're whipping it out, it's just a nice way of saying, hey, sacrifice something to me. What's that sound like, class? That's right, a cult. Now, each class, that's freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors, all have their own little chant. It's called a Wildcat chant. Now, where they got Wildcat from, I don't know, because they're Aggies and they have a lame-ass collie as a mascot. But they call it a Wildcat chant. And the freshmen, their chant is, ah, like multiple A's. Then you move on to the sophomores, and theirs is just A. 4 A's, back to back. You move to the juniors, and it's A, whoop. Then you go to the seniors, and it's A, whoop. Sounds like a slight progression downward from the ah. When you're screaming ah, you're either in pain or, yeah, you know what else. Sounds like some kind of progression of perversion. It's like the higher in class you get, the less perverted you have to put up with shit. So, and the last few things that make Texas A&M a cult is they gather at midnight to chant. That sounds like some, sure enough, occult stuff. Like Ouija board, making spells, becoming a witch, becoming a warlord kind of shit. But they gather at midnight and they chant, and they used to have a big old bonfire until they killed a few people. So, yeah, sounds a little cultish to me. And now the last thing I like, though, this is the only thing I like about their little cult, is that after each score, they do get to get some sugar from their honey in the stands. Oh, and there's that old lame-ass collie. Now, I heard from my podcast partner, Jonathan Lewis. Check his podcast out, College Football, Jonathan Lewis. I heard from him that the collie they got that from, they used to take collies over in the war and they would like sniff out bombs or some other shit. So I'm not really going to make fun of them for that. But I will say this. If it hadn't been for that, why would you choose a collie to be your mascot? It's probably the tamest, lamest dog you could get, the least intimidating dog you could get. Unless you're going back to the Lassie days, which was even before my day, where you had a dog that was some kind of hero that was a collie. But that's all I got today on them. But you guys and gals tell me, what do you think? Does that not sound a little weird, a lot of this stuff? It sounds like a lot of perversion and hazing and all sorts of kind of crazy shit going on down here at Texas A&M. So, I don't know. I'm going to leave the verdict up to you guys. There's also one more thing I wanted to ask you guys and gals, because people have been telling me off and on different, they're giving me different opinions on this. But, should I color this? Should I get me a little just for men and get rid of the gray? Or do y'all like the gray? Drop it in the comment section. And that's all I got today. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to this channel. And if you don't mind, look up underneath here. There's a little heart with a thanks. You can click on that and drop a few dollars in the coffers. Get me off this YouTube teat, as I always like to say. And KMCA to all the other teams.